la Marseillaise.
Citoyens, marchons, marchons. The Marseillaise bids you welcome to Paris as we like it. Spring sunshine, the magnificent Stade de France stadium of 65,000 people, and the first ever Sunday Rugby International in Paris, and they've laid down new turf for the occasion. And a French team, virtually, well, there's a great 15 on the injury list, the likes of La Maison, Dort and Magne suspended, but often they're at their best when seemingly vulnerable. All in all, 7 changes from the last outing since they won against Scotland. Importantly, Benazzi's back after long-term injury, so too Bernat-Salles is recalled and Stephane Glas, and it's the first cap for the flying wing David Bory. An Ireland side with just 2 changes after 2 successes in a row. Far cry from the close encounter of a year ago. There are only 4 left of that side. Kevin Maggs returns as wing in place of Shane Horgan, who's injured, and in the one straight selection preference, Rob Henderson earns his recall as Mike Mullins returns to the bench. Keith Wood's charges, well, 5 men of Munster in the pack, plus those halfbacks who've sparked those recent successes, Peter Stringer, Ronan O'Gara. Alongside me, great man of Irish rugby, Philip Matthews, who played 5 times against France, I believe, Philip, and well, it's 28 years since Ireland last won in Paris, the old Stade Colombe. 17 years since we beat them home or away. Is this the day?
Well, I think Nigel, Ireland have done enough to bring a genuine level of optimism into this game, but I think one thing that this Irish side are going to find, having played Italy and Scotland and put into very, very solid performances, is the sheer pace of this game. This really is moving up a division, up a league, and if Ronan O'Gara felt that moving from European provincial rugby up to international rugby against Scotland was a big jump, he's going to see a big jump today. But I think he's probably got the pace of international rugby, much depending on his shoulders, but this really is a completely different ball game, isn't it?
Well, it should be a ball game. They haven't got a ball at the moment, which is why the players are waiting in this bright sunshine. And certainly the pitch looks like it's never looked before. Absolutely magnificent. They've relayed it since the soccer match was played here, France-Poland, and it does look immaculate here at Stade de France. And so, as they wait their excitement, knowing no bounds here in this packed stadium, as the studio was saying just now, I think Matt Dawson was saying it really is a cauldron of sound. It's unlike anywhere else, and France are determined, but so too Ireland as they kick off through Ronan O'Gara. With so much at stake here, Ireland bidding to win 3 in a row for the first time since 1982. And in charge, the referee from New Zealand, Paul Honis, who immediately play underway and France in possession. This is Merceron, the new fly half. The breakthrough is by Desbrosse. There's danger here in the early stages. The interception by Denis Hickie important, but it's come back to France possession again. Ireland helter-skelter in defence. Bernat-Salles making his impact straight away. On his return, this is Bernat-Salles. Danger still with Merceron possession and overlap here. Could be a dramatic opening score in the corner. Bory, the new cap. No, it's a forward pass. Forward pass by a whisker. That was nearly as dramatic a start to a championship game as you could witness. The crowd don't like it, but the touch judge Tim Fleming and the referee Paul Honis were there on the spot to judge it marginally forward.
No, what was I saying on the pace? France not giving Ireland any time to settle it, so Laussucq starting that move from the tap penalty some way deep in his own half, and that's exactly what France are going to do today. They're not going to get Ireland settle in and play their own game here.
So straight on their back foot, Ireland with Peter Stringer, the young, well, virtually fledgling scrum half here, just 22, his long-time school, university, and now Ireland partner Ronan O'Gara outside him. Big push by France. Stringer, though, with a good clearance under pressure. That was important. That'll allow Ireland a little time to settle down.
And some early signs, Nigel, of France's intention within the scrum. Peter Stringer taking the ball, going backwards. An awful lot is going to depend on this Irish front row, because they're up against probably the most abrasive front row in the Six Nations Championship.
And the first major test for the young Munster halfbacks, as France have the throw-in through Marc Dalmazo. Such experience in their front row. Deflection taken by Laussucq. Merceron, that looked forward, went inside to Bory. Referee didn't signal that one. Desbrosse, big new centre, just winning his second cap today. Set up inside Ireland's 22. The pressure's still on, and the drive is still there. You can see how close. That's the Irish goal line. Merceron, all France at the moment. They've an overlap wide out. The kick through is by Ntamack. The chase is on. Hickie could win it, and it's over the dead ball line anyway. Just, my word, what early pressure here in the bright Parisian sunshine. Ireland already on the rack in these opening moments. Hickie, the saviour. Bernat-Salles, always a torment. And the referee has called them back, I think, for a scrummage. Player in front, and that's an unfortunate error at the dropout, which gives France the initiative again, and they're put into the scrum. Paul Honis, the referee there, you'll see, is wearing a black armband, and that's as a tribute to his father-in-law, who died just a couple of weeks ago. Paul Honis, his first game in the championship, his 14th international, the man from Hamilton, New Zealand. As France come again, the dummy was by Laussucq. The breakdown out wide. Bernat-Salles picks up the tackle by Kieron Dawson. Still possession. The front row again, set it up. Dalmazo to the fore. There's Laussucq. Digs it out to Merceron, and running everything at the moment, the captain, Fabien Pelous. Rather wild pass there, and the referee has already blown his whistle and given a penalty. A penalty, that is, to France. Keith Wood just requesting an explanation.
And Ireland won't be too displeased just to see the pace of this game slow down a little bit, maybe take a little bit of the noise out of this French crowd, because they're really going to have to weather this first 10-15 minute period. Here we see the original try opportunity. It was just a judge forward.
So here's Gerald Merceron, his fourth cap today. Clermont-Ferrand, club who've made the quarterfinals of the European Cup. Kicked his first international points against Scotland. 3 penalties, 2 conversions. His opening salvo today is successful.
Perfect kick, and an early reward for the pressure.
Scarcely the start Ireland would have wanted. They wanted to try and get an early score and disrupt any French confidence from the restart. Brouzet, but Ireland have come away with it, standing off as so often. Keith Wood driving towards the French 22, popped up by Stringer, and again Stringer this time to O'Gara, puts pressure on Ntamack, the fullback, heavily strapped leg. You can see the charge down, gives possession quickly with Henderson and O'Driscoll there together, rescued in turn by Lievremont. That's a powerful surge. Laussucq, Merceron to the open side, beyond Hickie. Girvan Dempsey across there. There's the fullback, trying to plant it deep. That's a useful effort. Drops it just outside the French 22. Well, there was danger here for France. The charge down initially by Mags.
could so easily have resulted in a score, but very encouraging for Ireland. Their first attack, they strung those quick 3 rucks together, which we saw them really introducing against Scotland and Italy, producing that really quick ball, which is so good for their 3/4 to attack off. Stringer whipping that ball away, so they really need to just settle themselves down, get themselves back into this game, and know that France are not going to be able to turn the screw for the full 80 minutes, and they'll have their time.
Shortened line again by France on their end throw. Goes way to the back where Brouzet stands and drives at the Irish backs. Popped up by Laussucq. Then Tournaire, the prop. Laussucq again. Merceron into space. Was he deliberately tripped? It was O'Gara who brought him down. But the referee has given the penalty as no further advantage accrued. And the penalty where the ball alighted will be on the halfway line. Clever little chip through by Merceron. There was a lot of space here.
A lot of space. Girvan Dempsey goes down well to field that ball, and handed by Costes, I think it is, and Ntamack.
So the lineup will be on Ireland's 22. Jim Fleming on this near side, the touch judge. Bang on the 22 there. So Maso to throw. That's number 8, Lievremont. Stored to the side. One of the World Cup members, Masson, quickly with Stephane Glas on the scissors. Ireland's defence secure, and the pass is going forward in any case, which will give Ireland the put into the scrum. Stephane Glas there. Lievremont, and back in action Abdelatif Benazzi, named Légion d'honneur recipient during the week as a tribute to his 72 internationals. Quick tap penalty taken by Ireland though. This play resumes. Foley with the setup, driven on by Kieron Dawson. Spun away Stringer, nice feed. Keith Wood so often plays the battering ram roll standing off the scrum half. This time it's with O'Gara, pops it inside, fast, close, attentive tackling. France put pressure on and eventually get the scrummage.
Well, France giving no quarter in defence as well, but Nigel, it's a very strange atmosphere at the moment. It has gone very, very quiet, but there's Henderson taking on. Henderson been brought in to do this real take the ball up, in your face job, very direct runner, but French defence coping very well with him.
Ireland's 10-metre line now with Merceron, mismove in the centre, straight through with Desbrosse bottled up there. Ireland offside, and that'll be just inside or just short of the 10-metre line on Ireland's side of the field. Brian O'Driscoll, the youngster who's made such an impact, just 21 in the midfield for Ireland. This is within range again for Merceron, and he indicates he's going to play the kick for goal. So it's almost head on to the post. Not much of a breeze to worry kickers today. Gerald Merceron, remember of course his predecessors, La Maison, Castagnède, all part of that enormous injury list, which so disrupted French affairs. Here's the kick. Looks good from here. Oh, he's spot on target again. So with what's 12 minutes played, it's 6-0 as Bernard Laporte, the French coach, looks on with some element of, I'm sure, of satisfaction at this early lead of 6 points to nil. Benazzi waits. Waiting for a ball for the restart. 73rd cap today, Abdelatif Benazzi. His first was a decade ago. Moroccan born. O'Gara with the restart. The referee just warning Malcolm O'Kelly, and in fact they're playing advantage here to France. There would be a penalty, and there's going to be one. Malcolm O'Kelly offside, ignoring the warnings of referee Paul Honis.
It really is Irish indiscretions that has been their undoing so far, particularly cutting down on any territory that they might thus be winning. They're really going to have to tighten that up. We would have expected more from France, but 6 points on the board, Ireland danger. This just started to run away a little bit for them. If they don't get back into French territory, start getting some answers on the board themselves.
Superb line kick by Merceron takes play to about 6-7 metres outside Ireland's 22. Front jumpers Brouzet. Maso with the throw. Up goes Brouzet. Cleanly taken. Beautiful feed from Laussucq to Merceron, and inside was Arnaud Costes. Ireland did well though to stamp that attack out. And now can clear just inside his 22. And safely away by Ronan O'Gara. Eases the pressure momentarily. He's got a very quick, accurate feed through the stringer, and O'Gara, his familiar partner over so many years from schoolboy level to international level, really does profit by it. So France's throw. Changes, but securely won by Pelous. Pelous standing off is not used. Merceron is there. Closed down very quickly that time by O'Gara, but there's plenty of blue jerseys there with Pelous now. Tackled eventually by Dawson. Possession comes sweetly though with Arnaud Costes, and driven on now with Bory. Bory, the new cap, onto Stephane Glas. Just forward again, and that's another let-off for Ireland that the crowd respond to, characteristically.
Just Irish defence is so key. The first up tackles really are so important today. No good bringing, just striking guys down in parts of France. They really got to stop them in the tracks and stop the French momentum if it's going to have any chance of surviving in this game.
Skinner's just splitting up in the front row. Referee coming to his near side to check the binding. Again, the better scrummage effort is by France, but the ball secured by Ireland. O'Gara goes for a huge touch find. Ntamack is lucky that went backwards. Ntamack now though with Bernat-Salles was really dumped there by Brian O'Driscoll it was who came in. And O'Driscoll appears to have hurt himself in the process. He really did nail Bernat-Salles here.
Well, that was the kind of defence you were talking about. That was a dream for a centre to have man and ball at the same time. We just hope that Brian O'Driscoll hasn't done more damage to himself than he's done to Philippe Bernat-Salles.
Certainly Ireland have given themselves good options in midfield. I mean, this was a classic of the aggressive defence in a way, with O'Driscoll, Henderson, and of course Mike Mullins, who's really done little wrong. He's on the bench, but they have good choice of the modern style centre now, don't they?
That's right. I think the modern style centre now has got to be that complete, all singing, all dancing, good in defence, but also pacey and strong in attack. And certainly Brian O'Driscoll seems to fit that bill entirely. Rob Henderson been given the chance to start the game as opposed to being more of an impact player. There's O'Driscoll's tackle again. Good to see such aggression from somebody who's such a creative player as well.
Emile Ntamack switched to fullback today. The recall of Philippe Bernat-Salles, one of the stars of the World Cup, his first test since the World Cup final. Scrummage collapse, loose head is penalised. Peter Clohessy, penalty given to France just inside their own half.
Well, this is again a key area, not only in terms of the strategic value of having a very solid scrum, but if it's going to be an area where Ireland's going to concede penalties in their efforts to contain this very experienced French front row, this could become a particular area of trouble for them today. It's certainly the strongest front row they'll have met in the championship so far.
Warren Gatland, Donald Lenihan look on, and I must say some anxiety, I'm sure, seeing France dominate territory and possession in these first 18 minutes, and threatening again inside Ireland's 22. France also have the throw. Untidy ball though, stolen in the end by Malcolm O'Kelly. Important possession, picked up off the deck by O'Gara well, and coolly cleared to touch.
Cleared to touch under pressure, but giving the French another attacking line. It's what mustn't happen to Ireland, and goodness knows it's happened to many Irish sides before here, is let this period of domination get on top of Ireland and knock any of the confidence that they've brought into this game. I think that shouldn't happen. Munster have built up this confidence throughout their European campaign, and there's a significant amount of Munster players on this side to take into this game.
Stolen by Ireland, good, but somehow it's found its way to Benazzi, and possession with Merceron. Switching in the middle is Desbrosse. Just outside Ireland's 22. The build-up once again. Merceron to the right, feeds wide over the top to Bernat-Salles. Kicked in field, good cover by Stringer. Calls the mark. Excellent defence by the scrum half. But the pressure mounts by the minute.
Pressure does mount, and I don't blame Ireland for having to take their options and kick these penalties, but it is giving France the opportunity to attack all the time.
Here again, through the counter-attack with Bernat-Salles after O'Gara missed touch. And you just cannot afford to give counter-attack possession to the French. Angled to the corner by Merceron once more. Dempsey still in play. Merceron there to cover. Fabien Pelous sets up Laussucq. Merceron, no way past it. Kelly. Benazzi. Laussucq. And Desbrosse took his eyes off it momentarily. Chance for Ireland to scavenge. And Ntamack recovers. Gets the kick through, and it's a good one with Bernat-Salles chasing Girvan Dempsey across. Great fall, and can now counter-attack. Could have actually carried on running, but it's with Ntamack again over the halfway. If he'd just looked around him and seen the opportunity to go up that far touchline, Dempsey could have made real good ground, real good headway. But the kick through allowed France to repossess.
Yeah, it's a kick through, giving possession back to France again. What Ireland really need to do is take penalties, take them quickly. Peter Stringer is going to have to start making more breaks from rucks and things, keeping the ball in hand even within their own half, because they're not necessarily going to get the chance to keep ball in hand within the French half. They're going to have to start deep in their own half if they're going to attack.
Problems with the front rows here. Clohessy, Wood, Hayes, Califano, Maso and Tournaire. A wealth of experience. O'Gara. O'Driscoll. Tremendous break through the middle. Henderson pops it back wide with Dempsey up in the attack with him. More like it from Ireland here. Stringer, this time Henderson. Battling his way towards the 22. Nearly pirouetted out of the tackle. Was held. Stringer again though. O'Gara, man and bull virtually. Bory could have been offside, was he? Yes, and also I think Benazzi had come through offside.
Well, a much more encouraging passage of play. Ireland getting the chance to attack from a ball just on the halfway line. In Paris, you really can't afford to be given chances to attack. They're really going to have to start creating those opportunities themselves. And if those opportunities come from penalties around the 10-yard line, or indeed around near their own 25, they're going to have to take them when they're presented and not wait for good positions. Otherwise, the French are not going to present them for them.
So with the first quarter just completed, the first chance, real first chance of points for Ireland. Ronan O'Gara, and it was in fact Arnaud Costes, the referee, singled out as being the man offside. Well, you always get a barrage of noise, the whistles around the stadium will not deter, I'm sure, 23-year-old Ronan O'Gara, first cap against Scotland this century, former Ireland under-21 Triple Crown winner. Ireland need these points. O'Gara, it's close, just drifting past the left-hand upright, sadly to the wrong side. It stays 6-0, 23 minutes gone. quick restart. Benazzi, Fabien Pelous, the French captain. Huge feed to David Bory, another of these electrifying wingers. Tremendous pace off the standing start. Benazzi inside. Went forward. It'll be Ireland's put into the scrum.
And you can see France not waiting for opportunities to be presented to them. They're taking the quick 25s, keeping the ball in hand, not kicking the ball and giving the possession to Ireland. That's what Ireland need to start doing from here.
So can they make this into a good platform? Secure ball. Stringer, O'Gara, mismove with O'Driscoll. Oh, he's again halfway through and he's got good support with Dempsey there. Couldn't quite break free. Fed on in turn by Henderson. Back inside, the big number 8, Anthony Foley. 10 metres out, the drive on again. Now wide. O'Gara. The charge on by Dawson, just short of the line. Still in possession. Here's a try. And it's Brian O'Driscoll, virtually under the post. Well worked and well deserved. Well, O'Driscoll to score his 4th try for Ireland, and an important one.
Well, he started it and he finished it. Brian O'Driscoll just getting better and better. The initial break was what created that position for Ireland. Again, the quick ruck ball produced from Peter Stringer. Peter Clohessy going very, very close. Stringer there to the base pretty quickly, and the ball popped. And O'Driscoll there to finish it off.
And I think it was an excellent pass by Malcolm O'Kelly, in fact, who actually saw what was wide. The opportunity for Ireland, and O'Driscoll diving through. Great score. And suddenly Ireland back in the game and can now indeed take the lead with the conversion attempt by Ronan O'Gara. Immediately in front of the post. He's only a few yards back. Danger, I felt for one moment of that being charged down, but he knew what he was doing. And Ireland lead 7 points to 6 after 24 minutes.
Well, there's no doubt they've got the ability, and they've justified the scoreline by taking that opportunity. They're obviously still a tremendous amount of confidence. They've sucked up this French pressure and come back and fashioned a score of their own. But they really do need to keep this ball in hand, because they are looking dangerous, particularly the likes of O'Driscoll, and with this quick ruck ball that Peter Stringer is able to manufacture and fire out. Then, as I said before, they're going to have to keep those opportunities and not wait for opportunities to be presented to them. They may well give the balance of territory to France, but keeping the ball in their hand is the best option for Ireland from here in.
It was good to see as the players reformed for the restart that the Irish bench to a man all went along just to exhort and encourage and shout at the Irish players to keep it up. Well, that's gone up and down from Bory, picked up by the number 8, Thomas Lievremont. Laussucq. So it was all done sweetly for France, it seemed, but they had only the 2 penalty goals to show for it, and Ireland did what you have to do with the French, and that is to unsettle them, unnerve them, make the self-confidence evaporate.
That's right, and really what they need to do, I'm sounding like an old record now, imagine. What they need to do is keep this in hand. I like to see Peter Stringer moving this ball, and O'Gara trying to create something in midfield and not kicking to touch and giving France the lines and hence territory and possession again.
The French replacements warming up, we saw behind the French goal, but we're worried down the far end now on Ireland's 22. Ireland's throw, lifting Anthony Foley. There's a short penalty given to Ireland for obstruction in the line out by France. Stringer taking quickly, whipping it through now to Ronan O'Gara, straight into the arms though of Emile Ntamack. Loves to counter-attack, whether on the wing or at full-back as he is today, but it's gone loose, kicked through by Clohessy. Knock on by Ireland.
Knock on by Ireland, but again O'Gara opting to kick as his first option. Really the better option for Ireland, because they really do look very dangerous today, as dangerous as I've seen in Ireland back, particularly against the French three-quarters.
Sniping runs from Brian O'Driscoll. It's already been so effective. Lievremont now though breaks off from the scrum. Laussucq, poor pass, picked up by Stephane Glas. France is 10-metre line. Again, a warning to Kelly not to get round offside, and the French forwards have broken away and feed on now to David Bory. Bory, great cover tackle coming in to save the day for Ireland, and I think it may have been O'Driscoll, but still danger. Fly hack by Keith Wood. Lievremont starts the counter-attack again to Ireland's 22, but he didn't release it after the tackle, and Ireland will have the relief of the penalty clearance attempt. It was a very useful bit of fly hacking by Keith Wood, and I think it was Brian O'Driscoll who got back to save the real danger, which was the sprint by David Bory for the line.
Yes, Lievremont goes down as desperation to maintain possession against 3 Irish defenders, just hangs on to the ball that little bit too long.
There's the Ireland captain, 35th cap today. Keith Wood, valuable work. He now has the throw-in. With the glasses in the middle and the French emblem, Bernard Laporte, the new coach, who goes long on the throw there and is taken by Benazzi. The drive to Ireland's 22. Danger looms again. Merceron wide. Desbrosse breaks one tackle, feeds inside. Desperate Irish cover. Still danger. Brouzet. 3 metres out. They come wide to the left. Stephane Glas. Huge hit. It was Anthony Foley who got in there, I think, but it's still Ireland up against it, this time with Benazzi charging towards the goalposts. And a penalty with Ireland offside quickly taken. Laussucq! The try is given. Christophe Laussucq. Just for a moment Ireland were caught napping, and the young scrum half gets his first try for France.
Well, first try for France, but the damage was done with that overthrown line out by Keith Wood, giving up possession and attacking position at the same time, and Laussucq just creeps over for what in the end was a rather soft try, but there could have been 2 or 3 tries in that move that led up to that penalty.
Mick Galwey was protesting to the referee about something, and instead should have been concentrating on what Laussucq was about to do. It really was a soft try for the French scrum half that restores the lead to France. 11-7. Just short of half an hour played. 2 more points from the boot of Gerald Merceron, and the crowd are happy again. And all that Simon Easterby could do was just take the man, but by that time he could reach the goal line with the reach of his long arm. Laussucq, the scorer, the man from Stade Francais. O'Gara's restart. Pelous dispossessed. Easterby tidies up. Ireland's ball. O'Gara puts up the Gary Owen, testing Ntamack right on his own goal line. Secure and takes the tap penalty. Well, he takes the mark and nearly kicked it out of his own possession. Lucky to recover. Laussucq, meanwhile, makes it safe to touch. Well, this was extraordinary. He calls and gets the mark. Watch that. No one quite near enough. Rob Henderson tempted to go for it. Of course, he could have done once he kicked it. Keith Wood. Less accurate, importantly inaccurate on that long throw near his own line. Now with the 4-man line. The 2 men there together, Galway and O'Kelly, but it's Lievremont who cleans up. Repossesses for France just beyond Ireland's 10-metre line. Merceron, Desbrosse on the crash ball. It's a very solid defensive midfield that Ireland have. And O'Driscoll and Henderson. And that's all a heap of bodies and a bit of a mess. Taken in by Blue, not used. Ireland's put in.
We're rather fortunate to retain possession for a scrum, but the line is obviously going through some difficulties. Maybe Lauren just overcomplicating things a little bit, cutting the line out, yes, giving their jumpers a little bit more space, but they really do have to get this one right. the French are presented with few enough chances in terms of territory and possession. And the line is one area they're really going to have to work on to get that right today.
That front row, three men of Limerick, the Munster men of Clohessy, Wood and Hayes. Ball one, O'Gara inside, Girvan Dempsey the fullback. Possession retained on the halfway line. Stringer, O'Gara checks, angles deep, doesn't get the luck, and it just bounced on the line itself, and that's in touch, which means it's out on the full, and France will get the throw in just inside Ireland's half.
Out on the full, and really again ball being used on the foot rather than kept in hand. Ireland really do, and I'd say the message coming up to half time from Warren Gatland and Andy O'Sullivan is Ireland keep this ball in hand. Ronan O'Gara can start to use his inside forwards and his midfield to take this ball up. He's overplaying the boots just a little bit, presenting France with possession, and as we can see they're attacking from anywhere.
Well, Ireland knew this was as good a chance as they'll ever get of beating France in Paris. A disrupted French side, and disruption there too as the ball was charged down from Laussucq. French side stung and still smarting from that defeat here a month ago against England, 15 points to 9, 5 penalties to 3. And Ireland on the back of 2 good wins after they in turn had also lost to England in their opener. So many injuries, 7 changes from their last game. Can Ireland capitalise on that? They come now wide, beautifully played, that was by O'Driscoll. That was class, took and given in the one movement. Clohessy drives. Still there, now with O'Kelly. Stringer. O'Gara with the little dummy, not bought, but possession still comes back. Lovely flick pass. O'Driscoll really put on the gas then, was just held short of the 22. Midfield. O'Gara, Wood to take 2 men out. Now the swift release. Stringer, Clohessy. They're battering away at France's defence, and they're inside the 22. Stringer. O'Gara has a go. Lievremont with the tackle. The pick-up is by O'Kelly. O'Kelly to Mick Galwey. 5 metres out with Stringer. Must be surely a try here. Over into the corner is Dawson. Just taken out at the very corner itself and went forward in the tackle.
Well, Ireland looking very dangerous anytime they get even a sniff of the line. That's a wonderful tackle just to deny Kieron Dawson. But really just adds the argument. Ireland must keep this ball in hand. They have so much to profit. The creativity of Brian O'Driscoll, Ronan O'Gara as well as the link man is just picking holes in what looks like a fairly porous defence on behalf of the French.
And it was, I think, Fabien Pelous who put in that all-input. There he is on Kieron Dawson. Looked so certain a try, perhaps first with Foley, who might have gone himself, but unselfishly shipped it on, and it looked as though Dawson was a certainty. Clohessy's back on his feet, but that will have heartened them again. They've shown already that France are vulnerable, and this was nearly the score that could have restored the lead. Great work by the French captain though to save the day. Merceron under pressure, doesn't find touch. Kevin Maggs back on the wing, man from Bristol. Down by David Bory, but over the top and down onto the ground. On top of the tackler go Ireland to concede the penalty. About 5 minutes of the half to go. 13 points to 7 is the French lead here. That weight of history hanging heavily still on Ireland's shoulders. Last Ireland win in Paris in the days when Tom Kiernan was captain back in 72. The last win over France at Lansdowne Road, 83.
There's a wonderful sleight of hand again by Brian O'Driscoll. At this stage, really, Ireland want to involve in just about everything they possibly can.
Really has been most impressive since his first cap against Australia last year. Played all through the World Cup, Brian O'Driscoll. Product of Blackrock College, like so many before. Slattery and co. France try to roll it off. And still in possession. Use it or lose it, says Honus. They use it poorly. Merceron Offside is Arnaud Costes. And away go Ireland. Keith Wood. That was a mighty tackle on Keith Wood, and I think the two players involved are a bit slow to get up. It was Fabien Pelous with the captaincy example who did it. But here is Lievremont. Lievremont looks for support. Ireland at 6s and 7s. It's Arnaud Costes inside Ireland's 22. Ireland still reeling from that tackle on their captain. It was the captain of France who did it on Ireland's captain drop goal attempt, but the whistle's gone already as Merceron went for goal. Did you ever see Keith Wood knocked backwards quite like that? Well, this was the drop goal off target, but there was a moment of great significance I sensed with Pelous putting in yet another tackle. There it is. Just moments ago it was on Dawson in the corner to save the try. Here it was to send Wood packing. Well, we've a couple of injured players. This was the run.
Yeah, well, no, it was Pelous on his own. I was going to say that Benazzi had lent his considerable weight to that as well, but no, it was purely Pelous. Real demonstration of intent there.
Brouzet perhaps a little bruised, but back on his feet. They're all okay. And the scrummage is inside Ireland's 22. Peter Stringer, Shannon and Munster with the feed. His partner waits, but Ireland are disrupting illegally, says referee Honus. Frustration for the crowd, relief for Ireland. Keith Wood, very much the talisman of Irish rugby in recent seasons. Like Anthony Foley was at St Munchin's School in Limerick and part of that all Limerick front row. And of course we all know of Munster's great exploits in the European Cup following what's becoming an Irish tradition after Ulster's wonderful success. Meanwhile, Henderson up to the halfway. Stringer well picked up by Mick Galwey. That's clever. It's going to roll for touch. Back on their heels are France. Bory could do nothing about that.
Back on their heels, and Henderson crucially getting past the gain line, giving O'Gara all the time and the space just to find his range and pick that touch deep within France's 22. Can they steal a line out here on France's throw as we come up towards the end of 40 minutes in this first half? Down the 5-man line. They make it 6 now. They chop and change. They go long, they go short, and Ireland get the ball. Cleaned up by Anthony Foley, but there was a close quarter knock-on to spoil that. Foley, who very much restored to Irish colours from quite a long let-off, didn't make the World Cup, which is somewhat surprising after playing all last season's 5 nations as it then was. Away by Merceron. Well, all the signs of another close encounter here, as it has been for the last 2 years. France's only win last year was the match with Ireland, 10-9 at Lansdowne Road, and here in the opening season of Stade de France it was a 2-point win, a game Ireland could, perhaps should have won. Now with Easterby, but stolen. No one close enough to give the flanker support, and the ball left begging for France to pick up. Now they keep it close. Warning O'Kelly again, coming in offside. Merceron, wide open spaces deep in that 22. Girvan Dempsey across, but has time. No close challenge, and does well to put it out almost on the halfway line. A minute remained
of this first half. So, much injury time. And France have the throw in that little path of sunshine on that far side. Pelous with the tap down, Benazzi with the support. Laussucq, back goes Hickie. Problems. Ireland in possession, but being reeled backwards. France put into the scrum in what may be the last action of this first half. So can they survive this onslaught? It was an awkward ball, and then Stringer just enveloped by Arnaud Costes. Really could do nothing to stem the tide. France put in, the crowd cheer, try to get something before half-time to increase their lead of 6 points. They have possession. Laussucq, Merceron with Desbrosse now. Dumped by Wood, but still France ball. Tournaire, Merceron, Stephane Glas, normally elusive but collared that time by Dawson. Now the drive on, 6 metres out. Merceron again, looks for a gap that closes, but still lays it back. Danger now wide to the right. Costo checks, tries to go up the middle, feeds number 11. There's a knock on. Bory knocked on first, and Ireland survive as the half-time whistle goes. So nearly a score right on the interval, but a hand too many saved the day for Ireland, and so France go into the changing room 13 points to 7. But I sense, despite that 6-point lead, it really is Philippe Mathieu's just anyone's game, and if Ireland can keep their cool, they could yet win this one. Certainly very solid first half and an awful lot of very, very positive things. Tactically, this game is going to be won at out half, and whoever plays the right tactics, if O'Gara can keep the ball in hand and make sure they get good possession and good position, there's no reason that Ireland can't go wrong and win this game. So Stade de France here, a tight second half in prospect, with France leading 13 points to 7. Where we wait the start of, could this be a famous day for Ireland? They've certainly looked very much in the hunt. They've shown the capacity, but I think, as Philippe Mathieu has said from the very start, they have this tendency to kick away ball to the opposition and bring France back into the game by their own efforts. 13-7, that's no more than a converted try in it. That would be enough to give Ireland the lead back. And remember, they haven't won in Paris for 28 years. What a day that would be if they could do it now. Merceron starts the second half. Immediately to Simon Easterby, valuable recruit he's been to. Irish colours, plays for Llanelli, but this is third cap for Ireland. Again, the counter-attack chance given to France. Ntamack racing in on Girvan Dempsey, his opposite number. O'Gara. But given that this is very much the big test for these new halfbacks today, Phil, they've so far accomplished themselves pretty well. They have, and putting the ball to the boot in that position, I can totally understand it, but I'm just mindful of the amount of space that is out there. France are expecting Ireland to kick in those positions, and there's an awful lot of space for the centre should they decide to move it. Pelous wins the line out, speeds down now to Stephane Glas, one of the players in the World Cup who helped France through that immortal victory over New Zealand in the semi-finals. Member of the Grand Slam side, Glas, of 97-98. Of course, how France fell from grace last season with only the one win after back-to-back Grand Slams. It'll be Ireland's feed to the scrum. Peter Stringer only made his provincial debut for Munster last October. He's come through with flying colours to the full international side. He waits now as Anthony Foley, another Munster man, channels it for him from O'Gara. Beautiful feed by O'Driscoll with Dempsey in the line. The tackle's good. That was by Bory, the wing. Still in play. Maso almost dispossessing his partner Lievremont. Very quiet, the crowd here. France ahead, but clearly 65,000 people here, and I guess, 9/10 of that would be France supporters, and it's almost silent. They're clearly not happy with the performance that the French have put in so far. But there's a penalty chance, which Merceron comes up to take. Strangely quiet though, Philip.
It is. It's quite disconcerting almost, Nigel. One of the things you do miss from the old Parc des Princes is the Basque bands, and which create this cacophony of constant noise and atmosphere, and it's very, very, very quiet. This is not necessarily going to play into either side's hands. I don't think it's any disadvantage for this Irish side, which, coming to Parc des Princes, it can be a very, very lonely place for a visiting side, particularly when you're under the cart. But so far, a lot of credit probably to Ireland for causing the crowd to be subdued.
Claps of encouragement as Merceron goes long and kicks magnificently from the touchline to increase the lead then, importantly, to more than the one converted try. It's 16-7, 9 points the difference. What a kick this was. Gerald Merceron taking over the kicking duties as an international for the first time this season. 13 points against France, and now has 11 points against Ireland, against a hushed backdrop. Fabien Pelous, the captain, very much to the fore today, but it's gotten knocked forward, and Clohessy it was who sets it out wide now with O'Driscoll. Impressive so far, dumped unceremoniously then. Stringer. Awkward moment for O'Gara. He only had Keith Wood outside and the number 8 in midfield with the other way. Brilliantly taken by Ntamack. Ntamack danger here. Benazzi fed on now, and is a race for Maso. Maso, can he make it all the way? Brilliant cover tackle comes in right to the line. The referee looks, and the try is not awarded. Well, Maso nearly had a long run for glory, but the cover came in just in time, and he could not quite make it by a mere centimetre or two, and it'll be a 22 dropout, not a try.
I don't think he can quite believe that he just couldn't stretch his 6-foot frame and make that a 5-pointer, ultimately a 7-pointer for France. I think he saw the glory from the moment he set up outside that French 22, or the Irish 22.
Well, was it Hickie? Yes, it was, who did tremendously well. He came from a 10-yard start for Maso to overhaul him within inches of the line. Centimetres these days. 16-7 it stays. And those must have been the longest 22 metres or so for the French hooker. Anyone bar him maybe would have made it. Laussucq. Back goes Foley. Back on his feet correctly. Snared by Bernat-Salles, but worked back to Stringer. And O'Gara.
O'Gara forced to make it a defensive kick as David Humphries comes on.
So it looks as though Humphries is going to take the full-back position, is he?
Temporary substitution for Ireland.
So
Denis Hickie is off, requiring some attention to maybe a cut ear in the process of tackling Maso.
So it may just be a temporary replacement. We shall see. That was thrown straight to Dawson in the end. O'Gara via Henderson. Maggs caught just short of the halfway line. Advantage being played. Ireland, Stringer inside O'Gara. And again, this time with Wood. Penalty to Ireland. Again, France guilty of going down on the ground after the tackle in the follow-up, and then tempted to use the hand in the ruck as well. So Ronan O'Gara Conversion of Brian O'Driscoll's try earlier.
And Keith Wood just hanging on for dear life there, leading up to the penalty. Referee calling for the French hands to come away from that ball, ultimately resulting in the penalty.
There's O'Gara, who set up a new 5-stroke Six Nations record with his 30 points against Italy. He's kicked 40 points prior to today. Missed the conversion, missed the penalty, but kicked the conversion. Just to get within 6 points again. It's going to be very close. It's hanging in the air. It's off the crossbar. As close as it could be. Covered by Abdelatif Benazzi. Unlucky for Ireland. Relief for France. And Merceron makes safe with touch. Just another ounce of power, and it would have been 3 points.
Coming back off the crossbar, and all it needed was somebody following up with a bit of pace, but Benazzi rescues the situation as ever.
Keith Wood to throw. Long again, and Clohessy via Stringer to Mick Galwey. Powerful man of Munster. Nice switch with O'Driscoll, getting the inside pass from O'Gara. Keith Wood again, clung to by Stephane Glas, but he's got plenty of support here from the pack, just outside France's 22. Stringer wide, Foley standing out wide. French defence lined up across the field as Ireland try and create a hole, but it's gone forward in the tackle from Keith Wood to give France possession. Well, Laussucq was not very adventurous then. He had an overlap outside of 1 or 2 possibly. It's Dempsey in return for Ireland. His opposite number, Emile Ntamack. Crowd come to life a little as he sets off on the counter-attack run. It's good play. Slips it inside to Merceron. Now Benazzi. Away by Laussucq. Then it was Glas acting as fly half. The loop move by David Bory. Stephane Glas. No way through on the halfway line. Good work by the Irish pack. Foley out wide. Laussucq falls, recovers. Still played against a silent backdrop here as Merceron angles deep and wide. The ball rolls as it does sometimes so awkwardly. Dempsey on the full. Girvan Dempsey, Tourneur, played wing against France last season, fullback today. And so some rather tired players make their way all the way back upfield to the Irish 22. Foley, the only challenger out wide. Christophe Laussucq. And France have made a replacement. Maso replaced by the former captain Raphael Ibanez, captain, and a huge cheer, perhaps the biggest of the afternoon apart from the try by Laussucq for the former captain of France's World Cup team. Ibanez then in at hooker. Laussucq, drop goal attempt. Merceron charged down well by Dawson. Ireland release in their own 22, fed back by Galway, and quick work in defence.
Again, Ireland just getting a turnover. That's great work by Kieron Dawson. Ireland very relieved to have Kieron Dawson on the side today, and I notice that Andy Ward has been positioned on the bench pushing Trevor Brennan out, because just in case Kieron didn't make the full 80 minutes, but certainly no signs of that hip injury troubling him today.
11 minutes into the second half. France 16, Ireland 7 here at Stade de France on a perfect Parisian spring day. And still the crowd wait for this game really to come to life. Plenty of thrust and counter thrust, but as yet a very subdued crowd of 65,000. David Humphries knocks on the high ball. And I must commend referee Paul Honis, who's proving to be pretty bilingual here. Directions in French and in English. Ireland's 22. Laussucq. 2 dummy runs, bringing David Bory in from the left wing. Now head forth. 10 metres, 15 metres out. Merceron loses possession. It wasn't a knock-on. Still the drive within 5 metres of Ireland's line. And it's French possession. It's a penalty meanwhile, though, to France, as Ireland come in to the side. And referees, of course, being very strict on this regulation this season. It was Ibanez there, held by Henderson. And then Ireland were guilty of coming in from the side, and another easy 3 points on offer here for Gerald Merceron. And this is the first time we've heard the familiar chant of Allez la France. Of course, it rebounded around this stadium when it hosted the final of the 1998 Soccer World Cup. And France went on holiday for 2 weeks as a result. 16-7 it stands. Merceron has no problem. 19-7, it's beginning to slip away from Ireland.
It's beginning to slip away on the board, but it's not necessarily through any real great domination of on France's behalf of this game. It's slipping away through Irish indiscretions and Ireland's failure just to get territory and play the territory game. But that territory game needs to be played with ball in hand today, because on a number of occasions counter-attacking opportunities will be given away too easily.
Ireland making a couple of replacements here, with Paddy Johns on for Mick Galwey, and we've got Andy Ward coming on for Kieron Dawson. Dawson, who was a doubtful starter, and at the same time it's Denis Hickie returning for David Humphries. So one player back, 2 introduced. Paddy Johns to win his 58th cap, his 7th time against France. Can they tilt the balance Ireland's way? Play restarts then with that changed lineup. And here's Denis Hickie immediately back in action, and on the break is Rob Henderson this time. Henderson gathering speed deep into the 22, looks for support. Ward is there, so too Paddy Johns, but it's gone loose, and France have recovered it. Only about 8 metres out from their own line too. Laussucq with the clearance, straight down the throat of Denis Hickie. Good run, Hickie back inside, no one to hand though. Palm back by Paddy Johns, but there's a knock-on. France first offended, so it'll be Ireland that get the put in. They need to score quickly here.
Well, Denis Hickie coming on and making an instant impression, and exactly what was needed. First ball he gets, a lovely little touch inside to Rob Henderson. Rob Henderson takes the French on, but unfortunately the ball is spilled in the tackle.
And we've injury troubles again. Can't quite see who's being attended to, as Keith Wood. Ibanez in the middle then of that French front row. Stringer, O'Gara, Henderson again, half through, gets a good feed in, and it's O'Driscoll to score. What a try! And again it's Brian O'Driscoll that keeps Ireland in the hunt and scores his 5th try. What a run he's having, but that was beautiful interplay between the 2 centres. Ireland are back in this match.
Well, it's a wonderful whipped ball away. There's a wonderful angle that Henderson took there to make that gap, and again that pace of O'Driscoll hitting that ball flat. Wonderful try.
That's really stunned this crowd, and surely has stunned the French crowd as well, the team. And there, the 21-year-old
bursting through. He has such terrific acceleration, and as we watch that, the conversion goes over from O'Gara, and it's a margin only of 5 points now. So trailing by 5 points with 16 minutes played of this second half.
Trailing by 5 points, Nigel, but really if you could say that Ireland playing a lot of the rugby here, very much the creative role. Certainly takes surprising the French for their ability to cut through their defence at will.
Well, that surely will have restored any wilting confidence for the Irish here. And perhaps nothing will encourage them more in a way than the silence of the French crowd. Ireland with 2 wonderful tries by Brian O'Driscoll. France playing in spasms really, but coming dangerously now with Benazzi feeding through to Stephane Glas. Glas held by Paddy Johns just on the Ireland 10-metre line. I've never known French crowd so quiet, even when they're well behind, but to be so quiet when they're 5 points ahead is unique in my experience. Laussucq, Dempsey, secure. And finds touch deep in the French half. And it looks as though France are going to bring on Franck Belot in the second row. He still waits on the touchline. There's the other, well, one of the other second rows, Fabien Pelous, the captain. But nothing's happened yet. And the Irish pack go into a huddle.
L'équipe de France sortie du numéro 7, Abdelatif Benazzi, remplacé par Lionel Mallier.
Well, in fact, they've taken off Benazzi, and Lionel Mallier is the player to come on after all, and he's the flanker. So France with the 1 change, Ireland with 2. No, the second French change, of course, because Ibanez came on. Deep inside the 22 then, it's with Denis Hickie, called this season to win his 15th cap. Philippe Bernat-Salles back to full form after long-term injuries. And of course no Olivier Magne, still suffering suspension after his headbutt in the Scotland game. He's been one of the outstanding figures the last couple of seasons in French colours in the back row. Pelous. Then they try to roll it round the back. Now bring it close in with Mallier. Laussucq, Merceron. Desbrosse again held well midfield. In front of the post, only about 20 metres out. Merceron poised perhaps for a goal. There's an offside here, I think, that's going to be given Paddy Johns, and it's so obvious that it's going to be a 10-minute sin bin for a, well, as referee Honus described it, a very stupid infringement, and Paddy Johns then is going to have to spend 10 minutes off the field.
Well, I think that was very, very harsh decision on the referee's part. I think Paddy Johns generally felt that the ball was out. I don't think there was anything untoward in terms of trying to stop a try opportunity and swap 5 points or 3 points for a potential 7.
Nor, of course, was it a repeat offence. So it's pretty harsh. Merceron, and 3 gifted points to France. So back to 8 points as a lead for France. And we have Humphreys on now in his normal position of fly half for Ronan O'Gara as Ireland's further replacement. So David Humphries immediately into the action, came on briefly as temporary replacement when Denis Hickie was off, but now his favoured position, the fly half to win his 23rd cap. And someone again who has benefited, I think, from the excellent service of Peter Stringer at scrum half. Merceron, Humphries' opposite number. And Merceron now has built up, 5 penalty goals and a conversion for 17 points out of the tally of 22. Once again, Ireland have to dig deep. Got to score at least twice. Down to 14 men, remember. Humphries immediately. Beautiful feed on by O'Driscoll. France's 10-metre line. Ireland really don't have much of a back division organised here. They've all got sucked in on the far side, mainly forwards out wide. Here's Keith Wood. Good forward support there now. Stringer, Humphries, Kevin Maggs. Not releasing. France penalised. So Humphries can quickly pull back 3 points here.
Again, that's a repeat of that wonderful skill by Brian O'Driscoll. O'Driscoll and Hickie seem to be working in concert here today, really building up a good relationship. But I wonder if the replacement of O'Gara by David Humphries is a tactical one. Ireland certainly need to keep this ball in hand, and indeed they really profited here by keeping that ball in hand. And I would expect that David Humphries would be more prone to playing that style of game from here on in. I would expect to see that being borne out. Ireland really do need to keep this in hand if they're going to. They still can win this. They've worked themselves into a very good position and are certainly playing with a good deal of confidence, but tactically is just where they're missing so far.
Well, this will be handy, getting back within 5 points. David Humphries, as ever, removes his head guard. 184 points for Ireland in his career. He struck that well. Oh, what a kick. Just what Ireland needed at that moment to cancel out the unfortunate incident with Paddy Johns and the Merceron penalty. That was a very important kick. It will put France on edge and lift Ireland's hopes again. 22-17. Over quarter of an hour remains, and such a valuable prize at stake here for the Irish, especially after so long a wait. But that won't help their cause. A knock on. A rare mistake by Peter Stringer. Benazzi looks on, and France now tails up with the scrummage 10 metres from Ireland's line. Wait for the call, says Paul Hoeness, 36-year-old from Hamilton, New Zealand. First international far cry from here, Tahiti against the Cook Islands back in '87. Not a new young breed. Laussucq, meanwhile, Stephane Glas trying to tie in the Irish marauders. France, bit of hesitation this time, and able to counter that, but Tournaire gets up a bit of steam. Ever closer, 8 metres from the line, still possession. Merceron though misses it completely. It went a little behind him. Desbrosse is there, he's readily dumped with good work by David Humphries. But still France. Drop goal attempt this time by Merceron. Looks good, is it? Off the upright. Ireland breathe a sigh of relief again. Hickie clears for touch.
That really was a wonderful struck drop goal. Look how deep, almost just outside his own 10-yard line. Thumps the post another inch either way, and that would have ricocheted inwards, and 3 points.
A bit of Irish luck in play there, I think. So here's Raphael Ibanez from Perpignan. Proposed captain. Fabien Pelous took over after the World Cup. Costes now, though. And still tied down territorially. Merceron again, a slip of handing. recovers it, but there's an offside though against Ireland, and that's Rob Henderson had encroached, and there could be 3 simple points here after all in this phase of play. Gerald Merceron, winning only his 4th cap today, he's had 17 points off his boot already. Missed a couple of drop goal attempts, and still Paddy Johns sits out his 10 minutes. Still more than 3 to see out. So again, it could be an 8-point lead for France as we come well into the last quarter of an hour. Merceron leans back, strikes it sweetly, straight between the uprights. 25-17. A game which has, in general terms, lacked fluency and pattern, hasn't it, Phil?
Very much so. It's not necessarily been a disadvantage from Ireland's point of view, because they've been able to construct things despite the fact that there hasn't been a huge amount of pattern. But they're going to have to now look to make the absolute most of any possession they get and attack from just about everything. They're dangerous and they can do it, but it's going to take a strong heart to do it.
Clearly seen the abilities out wide. The midfield have scythed through the French defence several occasions, and that's where they must try and exploit now, but they need the ball to do it with. And they get the advantage from that offence in the line out for the put into the scrum here. So the referee insisting that they reform at the right spot. Stringer waits urgently. Foley holds, channels, Stringer, Humphreys. Now with Henderson, and it's a nice loop by Humphreys. This is Hickie in from the left. Tackle comes in from Desbrosse, but it's been lost in the tackle, and it's going to be French possession again. Ntamack just hoofs it a long way downfield. Gives Ireland the counter-attack chance now with Hickie once more. Tries to get through with the dummy, but Stringer's there now in support, and this is O'Driscoll. There's that turn of speed, acceleration that really does cause panic in French ranks. And it's still a chance here with Ireland now, with Keith Wood up to the 22. Some continuity of possession here. Dempsey up there to win it back. Humphreys rather short of recruits out wide. All got sucked in a little, and Stringer not sure which way to turn because of that. And the tight marking of the French enough so far. Ireland regroup, remember, just the 14 men. Slip back to Stringer once more. Was there a knock on? It looked as though there was. And that's important possession given away unnecessarily. O'Driscoll there back on his feet. Paddy Johns anxious to get back into the play as 10 minutes have been used up, and it's going to be replacements, double replacements for France. Meanwhile, Pieter de Villiers, who replaces Franck Tournaire. So Pieter de Villiers in at prop, and it's a first cap for Franck Belot, who comes on in the second row for Olivier Brouzet. So another new cap for France from Stade Toulousain. Franck Belot, in similar dimensions to the man who replaces Olivier Brouzet, 16 stone 10, something like that. Ireland look for the counter-attack again. Girvan Dempsey once more. But there's been another knock-on close quarters, and possession that's so hardly won is so readily given away. Just knocked on in the tackle as Dempsey set off on the counter. So the frustration in that respect continues for Ireland. France cling to a 5-point lead. They've just about deserved to be ahead, but one senses so much that Ireland could have at least been on terms and could well have been ahead if they'd made fewer handling errors at important times. Dempsey deep in his 22. Time to recover. Not finding touch, which I think it intended. Merceron. Halfway line. Stephane Glas. Humphreys. O'Driscoll. Humphreys return pass. Now Hickie. Cross kick. It's a rare feature these days. But it's France who recovered it. Break by Laussucq. And finally touched just inside Ireland's half.
And Ireland doing the right things, but very often it's the last touch evading them. Any ball that they are receiving is essentially coming from the French boot, and they have to counter-attack everything.
Instant repairs to the new turf that's been laid here for this match at Stade de France. Just looking to see if any further, there's a bit of a huddle down on the line, but no further replacements being introduced at this point, with what, about 8 minutes remaining, and whatever injury time there is. Bernat-Salles, strangely quiet. Well, here's a counter-attack ball. Denis Hickie. Humphreys, or rather Dempsey. Identical head guards. Hickie again. Shrugs off one tackle, gets up a bit of speed on the break. Good support. Back on the French 22. That's a great pick-up. It could be a third. It's O'Driscoll again. And that brings the scores level. Well, a moment of individualism.
Well, another wonderful piece of play by Brian O'Driscoll. He can just do no wrong. The space is really suiting him. Stringer did his best to be spoiled, but again, because O'Driscoll's taken up such a flat position, always looking to take that ball flat, he was there at the right time.
25-22, I should say the score is. And here's the hat-trick for the youngster, Brian O'Driscoll. That wonderful pick-up, the acceleration, because he took it at such speed, and it was all sort of in slow motion in a way. Players were looking and wondering what the decision of the referee was going to be, and meanwhile O'Driscoll took his chance. And so a kick to get within a point now for David Humphreys. Sails between the posts. It's 25-24. I make it about 6 minutes and injury time remaining. Confirmed now by referee Paul Honis, just over 6. Any sort of score for Ireland is the target. 25-24. It's been so close of late. 10-9 last year to France. 18-16 here at Stade de France 2 years ago. Can Ireland finally turn it round? Humphreys must play the game in the French half. Hope perhaps to get a drop goal chance or a penalty. But it's France in possession with Merceron. Humphreys gets a second bite of the cherry. Now with Dempsey. Bit of a kicking duel developing, and that's not going to find touch either.
Well, that was crucial for Ireland, because just that spilled kick virtually by David Humphreys just gave very little option. The kick had to be made. What Ireland don't want to do is start giving away lineouts, because the French will attack from anything. Lievremont takes the ball, really should have come in field, but manages to get himself tackled into touch.
Paddy Jones back in action there. And so too, ball for Ireland, beautifully taken by Humphreys. He had to reach for it. Stringer again, this time with Clohessy. Still the drive on, that time with John Hayes, the big prop. Stringer looking for options. Through to Henderson, to Keith Wood. Knowing there's about 5 minutes remaining. And here's a penalty chance. The French players diving in on the deck. And so the chance has arrived for David Humphreys. a point behind, but now the chance to take the lead. And a moment of high drama against a subdued French crowd here, 65,000 in the stadium. But they've not been happy with the home team performance today, which has been very much of fits and starts. Well, he'll not need reminding that last year he had a chance to win the match with a late penalty in the game, David Humphries. He'll put that out of his mind, I trust. Here, he can give them the lead. He struck it perfectly. Is it straight enough? The flags are up! Humphries this time is on target. The Irish on their feet in the crowd. It's 27-25 with 4 minutes to go. David Humphries, is he the hero this time round? His conversion and now his penalty have given Ireland the lead by 2 points. What dramas remain in this extraordinary game. Ireland bidding for 3 in a row for the first time since 1982 in the championship. Bidding for a first win over France in Paris since 1972 and ever since 1983. But that's gone out on the full, and Ireland point urgently to the referee that it has done so, and that takes them into the French half, their 10-metre line. It's about 3 minutes to go. Is this to be the day of history? That, I have to say, has really beckoned from early on in this match, and it looked as though they were almost reluctant to take it. So, Keith Wood, the captain, will not hurry. They're deep in the French half. They have possession. It's all about tactical sense here. Drop goal attempt by Humphries. It's soared high but wide. It uses up a few more seconds and leaves few options for Emile Ntamack behind his own goal line. Looking for the quick restart. Cool heads now are the order of the day for Ireland. Keep play down in this half. The imperative. 27-25. Ahead for the first time in the match since O'Gara's conversion of O'Driscoll's early try. A knock-on by Ireland, announced by referee Paul Honus. But another scrummage, more seconds used up.
Really, this is all about territory now for both Ireland and France. France are going to want to keep this ball in hand should they get it. It's an Ireland scrum. Ireland must continue to attack. They can't try and just sit on the slender lead because it's all about territory. As we've seen before, the best way for Ireland to maintain any territorial advantage is to keep that ball in hand. So they're going to have to be constructive, maintain that positive attitude, and who knows, they could possibly seal this game right at the end.
The last powwow, the last team talk. 2 minutes. The minute, says referee Paul Honus. And just a little bit of injury trouble. There's John Hayes of Shannon and Munster, 19 stones, part of that Limerick front row. And what a part Munster provincial players have played in this if it's to be the victory. More time goes. Ireland happy to stay camped down here just outside the French 22. It's the win that would mean so much to Irish rugby. Third championship victory in a row. In sight now. Drop goal attempt by Humphries. Well, it didn't make it, but it used up more time. But Ntamack knows it's we're down to counting seconds really as the counter-attack comes. You could have expected that. Laussucq, Merceron, Ntamack enveloped. Last immense efforts by Ireland in defence. They're still clinging on, they're still keeping the ball down deep in the French half, and that's the necessity. It's edge of seat time now for the thousands of Irish supporters here, but don't start drinking the stout yet. Anything can happen in a minute or so of play, but it is only that sort of time we're talking about. Peter Stringer, one of the heroes, a cool customer, he's earned his spurs. It's held. Stringer now away. O'Driscoll, the hero, surely. Inside with Paddy Johns. O'Driscoll, 3 tries. What a day for him. Humphries could be another, but it's intercepted, and that spells danger. But it's deep inside the 22 of the French now, but they love the counter-attack and they're going for it here. The tackles come in thick and fast. France have to release. They do so to Laussucq. The tension mounts with Lievremont still retaining possession. Could this be their last flourish? But Ireland are tackling like men inspired. The ball's gone loose, but there's a penalty as an Irishman came in from the side. They take the quick one with Bory. He's tackled just short of the halfway. Ireland desperately back in defence. Pelous tries to make the breach. Ireland in with the tackle on Califano that time. The tackle from O'Kelly. There's still lots of Frenchmen out wide with Desbrosse. Ireland giving everything as they have to. Ntamack now. Still just beyond the halfway. They mustn't concede a penalty, of course. It's only a lead of 2 points. And they've cleverly, brilliantly worked it back. A crucial moment. The ball into touch, but it's not the final whistle. Yes, it is! Yes! Stringer, arms aloft. Ireland have done it at last. They've won in Paris for the first time since Tom Kiernan was captain at the old Stade Colombe in 1972. A first ever win over France since 1983. Let the celebrations begin. It was a win of courage, not of great inspiration. Although one has to say that man, Brian O'Driscoll, will be the toast of the whole of Ireland tonight. His hat-trick of tries. And finally, the important penalty of David Humphries that sealed the win they've so long awaited. 3 wins in a row in the championship for the first time since 1982. And there the man is hoisted aloft. And alongside me there's a man who will have enjoyed this moment as much as any, Philip Matthews.
I didn't think I'd see this for quite some time. There was an awful lot of optimism coming into this match, but some felt it was more than Ireland could really hope for. Yes, Brian O'Driscoll would have certainly stamped his authority on this game, but I thought the running of Denis Hickie off the ball and on the ball was excellent as well. They used that space, they used what little ball and what little territory they had to telling effect.
And so the celebrations begin and will continue long, I'm sure, into the night here and at home, because Ireland have done what they... Well, it was always in sight in this game. One sensed if they could only believe it themselves, they could do it. Eventually they did, and in those dying moments they kept their cool. They now are being saluted by their hordes of ecstatic supporters over to our left. And it's here in Stade de France that Ireland have finally won. 27 points to 25. What a day.